Sarah's doing a terrific job.
Yeah. Not easy.
Yeah. Learning curve.
Well, we are broadcasting. I just don't know if it's going out live.
I see 22, 23 participants.
Yeah.
24. Popular tonight. Are you checking on that, Sarah, or should I just begin? No rush.
Let's begin. We're recording and we are broadcasting live. It's just not going to YouTube.
Okay.
So I would just start.
Okay. We will call the meeting of the Irvington Architecture Review Board to order. As is usually the case, we will hear continuations first, then revisions, and then go on to new matters. And we will go in ascending order by way of the application number. So we will now start with the first would have been 20-14, 41 Dogwood Lane solar panels, but they have submitted no new materials. So we will go on to ARB 20-19, 2 Hancock Place. Okay. Now on this particular matter, two things to discuss or to make note of. It is apparent to some of the board members that that the matter of the fence is taken off or taken down from this meeting. At that point, the only thing that we even had left to talk about was the requested or required landscaping that would be in front of the garage. That was the only other thing, to my recollection, that was slated to be discussed. However, as of today, six people have filed an Article 78 against against the planning board for the way that this the way that this has been handled. And at that point, one of the things that they discussed was the fact that the planning board did not properly handle the application by sending it to the ARB for their review and recommendations. So that having been said, it seems like, especially if this is a successful Article 78, this will be coming back to us for further clarification. So at this point, I don't see much in the way of a reason to hear this case tonight, because of the fact that the fence is not being discussed tonight. At least that's the way we interpret the letter from the representative of the owner. Am I correct in that?
This is Mr. Chairman. Thank you. I missed a little bit of what you said, because I guess when Ms. Palermo was the panelist, I was out, and then so I missed a little bit of what you said. I caught a little bit of the explanation of the Article 78 that I understand was filed, that I understand you received a copy of. Again, that lawsuit is filed, I guess, today, naming the Village of Irvington, the Planning Board, and the Takash Kimuras. So again, just by way of the chairman, members of the board, Sharetta, the attorney for the applicant, and again, I apologize to the chairman if I missed some of this. I wasn't logged in as a panelist. So we are here for continuation of this matter. With the Article 78, that Article 78, and I understand the village did receive it, and I understand you discussed this with council, but that law does not change in terms of what has to happen here this evening. There's no automatic stay. There is no injunction. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, Mr. Chairman, the lawsuit doesn't pertain to anything happening here this evening. It shall run its course. It shall go through the court process. But that doesn't mean that the Kimuras now all of a sudden, because neighbors decide to file a lawsuit, again, we'll deal with that lawsuit in another forum, that all of a sudden the process stops. again, I think tonight they have a right, we do have a right to be heard. And then the last thing, Chairman, that you mentioned, just with respect to the fence, and that was the question I heard. You are correct. I know at the last meeting, we spent a lot of time talking about that fence. What we did with respect to submission in the application with respect to Takashi and Kimura, we've removed that from consideration from the board. And in essence, if and the applicant decides to install a fence, he will be coming back before your board. But the application this evening does not include fence. It's mission that we have. Christina will go through with it. I mean, she has some slides this evening, but again, the fence is not this application, so we don't see any reason why this application could not be heard. And again, we do a brief just overview of what was submitted. You have my letter, the chairman, from the records that I'm not going to go over them. You have them, and they've been obviously part of the record. So with that said, again, we're here tonight. I know you have a busy agenda, but I don't think there's much left to discuss of the application itself, considering that the drawings. Again, the law doesn't change that, and I'm sure your counsel have advised the board of that.
The council did direct that the case can be heard. At this point, though, I'm not sure what we need to hear. I mean, the fence was really one of the few things in the ARB application that we had anything to say about. Christina, is there something else that I'm missing?
Well, I think we've provided a lot of the information you requested, and I wanted to present that to the board tonight. It's actually further, I guess, description of how we're handling the architectural details of the building. And also we added about 5 3D views, and we were asked to provide that, so I would like to present that to you. This is all done in response, to your board's request. So I'd like to share the screen and go through it with you, if you would allow me to do that.
Any board member have anything to add?
Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Can everybody see the drawings?
I see your computer. I don't see the drawings.
Hold on. I have a double monitor.
It's sticking a lot here.
Can you see the drawings now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to run through, these are the drawings you've seen before, so I'm going to go to the drawings that the new information that we provided. The site plan staying the same. This is a site plan that's been approved by the planning board and the zoning board. We are indicating the fence only on the site plan just because this is the site plan approved by the planning board, which had the fence on it. But we did not, we took the fence out of the application to the architectural review board. This is our landscaping plan. This is showing the low shrubbery down here that's going to be around the proposed garage. And it's a combination of native low shrubbery type plants, some deciduous, some evergreen. There's a legend here. And we had a landscape architect develop this plan, and it was reviewed by Susan Nolan. And this is the plan that was reviewed and approved by the planning board. I'm just touching on that because I'm going to show you those shrubs in a rendering. The footprint of the building is the same. The footprint of the garage is the same, explained last time. This follows the shape and size that was approved by the planning board and zoning board. Now, our second floor plan, I'm just going to remind you that we did change this. We have a step down into the bedroom. We haven't changed it from the last meeting, but I just want reminding you that we have 3 dormers in front, a very large one in front to match the dormer that's over here at the bedroom, which you'll see on the elevations. And these dormers helped break up the scale of this building. This is our west elevation. This is the large dormer in the front on the second floor that matches the existing. We have windows that have the same treatment of the existing windows with brick sills and paneled shutters. We've added flower boxes and brackets. The reason for that is because this adds to visual interest. And
Before you go on from there, have these changes, were these did the planning board see these changes or not? This is a post planning board approval?
The windows were here, it's just, the dormer was enlarged and the flower boxes were not on the drawing. We always had the same side entrance, the same shape, same
What
height.
about the awning on the side entry?
The awning is a detail that we added. And then, for our last submission, we just simply decided to pull out this elevation, and which is what you would see, the north elevation, showing the entry to the garage because it was covered by the existing vestibule entry. So we pulled it aside just so you could see the detail of that door. So, you know, we really paid attention to all these little details, which we know adds a lot of visual interest to this addition as you see it from Hancock. This is just the same, the rear elevation facing east has not changed. South elevation, we added shutters to the kitchen windows. And this is a page of details to show you the entry roof over the door to the garage, the bracket detail, a typical window which has the same 6/6 double hung type window as existing with the sloped sill, panel detail of the shutters, the flower box with another panel detail and brackets, a lot of very traditional detail, but a lot of the ideas are really extrapolated from the original house. A dental molding is very important detail because across the top of the wall of the addition and all around the existing house is a very nice frieze board and dental detail, which we plan to match. Also, all the gutters will be copper to match. So I'm just giving you this information. This is additional information than we've added to the information we gave you last time. We also
Christina, what I'm concerned about is the fact that the planning board and the ZBA have made assumptions or opinions about the changing the architectural and or keeping it in tune with the architectural basis of the neighborhood. We're not making that decision. It's usually our decision to make, but we're not making our decision. I don't know why we would be expected to make this opinion on these changes without going back to the original people who approved this. Does that make any sense?
I'm not sure if it makes sense to me. These are architectural details we're talking about. The size and shape of the building was approved by the planning board, but I want to show you, if you would let me finish the presentation, the difference between our original submission and what we have as of today. The original is on top, and we were asked to provide a larger dormer in the front, and by your board, which we did. And then down below, we added the side dormer, which was simply to break up the roof shape above. The windows are the same, the doors the same. We just added that little entry roof just to add some interest and detail. This is before and after. This is our original submission on top, and this is our latest drawing. We were asked to take a look at, all these, the shape of the roof, scale, proportions, so we did, and we really, I think, improved that by having that dormer to match the original dormer that's way over on the other side of the house. This is also showing the shrubbery that we have put around the addition to create a green buffer there. And this is another view showing a little bit of the entry to the garage. So our original submission is above. Our latest submission is below, showing the larger dormer, the flower boxes and the shrubbery around the addition.
Hey, can I just add one thing, Christina?
This is our last image, I think. But go ahead, Lena.
But just to the chairman's question, these are architectural elements that don't warrant going back to the board, because first of all, the coverage hasn't changed on any of the ones. These about these dormers, and that's put in, but they do not change the overall calculations for coverage that the plan board and the zoning board looked at and have been. So I just wanted to reiterate that the coverages remain the same.
It's just not about coverage. It's about architectural integrity. Whether it,
Lino, I thank you for saying that, but I just wanted to finish my slides and then maybe we can focus on addressing your question,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman. I just wanted you to see and the whole presentation, and then maybe we can address that. This is the same view from Hancock, and we just wanted to show you where we are today with our new, the latest drawings showing the plantings around the addition, and all the trees that we're keeping, the existing trees that we are planning to keep. And I just have a view of the rear of the building in case you want to see it, and the view looking down to show how the new roof ties right in and aligns with the existing roof and matches the dormers that already are on the house. We also gave you a more detailed color and material scheme, so you could see a blow up of some of the details, the brick, the light fixtures, and the siding, the dental molding, and all the details that we're planning to put on the house that will have, all these elements will help to give cohesiveness, harmony, so that the addition will blend in with the original style and character of the house. So to address your question is, I'm not sure, but my understanding is that the ARB looks at the architectural elements and materials and colors. So we have really focused on that and tried to respond to your comments. I don't know, and maybe Lino can talk more about that. You know, our impression is that these are items that are not in the purview of the zoning and planning. And really, it's very essentially the same building in size and shape and height, and also the windows, except for the larger dormer in the front, and then one smaller dormer on the left side facing north. So that's the end of our presentation. I just wanted you to see the amount of effort we've gone to really try to tie in this house. The addition of the house, we are very, you know, I have a lot of, 32 years of experience doing old homes, tying new and reducing, and we have looked at the details of the original house and replicated a lot of the same details in the addition.
okay. Anything from the board?
I just, oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so this is Deb Hargraves. I agree with the chairman in that I think from my perspective, yes, there's been an improvement in detail that's been added to these plans. And yes, it looks prettier, if you will. There's dormers added, flower boxes added, the shutters are added with detail. We've got landscaping, but it still brings us back to our initial comments at the beginning of the first presentation, which is we wanted to address the bulk, the height, and the mass. And we're here today hearing, again, that that's outside the purview of what we are to deliberate. And I disagree. And because you've added details to make this design more attractive, if you will, it still doesn't present a design that is in keeping with the characteristic of the neighborhood. I, again, will reiterate what I said in prior meetings, that as to scale, massing, materials, setback, the removal of trees, the adding of a fence, the location, the new location of the driveway, it is not in keeping with the neighborhood, period. There's nothing you could do to this building as the size of it is presented that could change my mind in that matter. But I am interested to hear what our architect has to say. So I am agreeing with you, Chairman, that I too am struggling with what we're doing and looking at this application when the bulk of our responsibility is to make sure that the design of a house is in keeping with the rest of the neighborhood. And as it stands now, no matter what design you put on shutters and how much landscaping you add as far as bushes in front of the house, I don't see how we're doing our job in assuring that the characteristic of the neighborhood hasn't been ruined. This is Ardsley Park, and this is a tremendous new addition. I have a problem with it, but I'd like to hear what the architects have to say.
Ken?
that would be me. I'm in concurrence with what Deb is saying and all the effort that's gone into this. The one suggestion that we made about making it wood and lowering it and dropping it down has not happened. And I appreciate some of the efforts, but I just think it still is quite a large protuberance on the front of this building. And I've said it before, this is nothing new.
Anybody else on the board? No? Okay. Lino?
Well, if case, because frankly, Mr. Chairman, now our third thing with this board and with respect to Ms. Hargraves, I just think that is incorrect with respect to what your board is charged with looking at. This is our plan. Size and the map of this has been approved by zoning and planning. There's been an Article 78 that's been filed, and I'm curious as to how you got it the board tonight with respect to that lawsuit, but that's a discussion for another day. That being said, the architecture is what it is. Massing in the sun, what it is. If it does not like it, then at this point, we are pretty much done with this application. We would just vote, and if the board would like to deny it, we like it denied so that we can have to do and proceed. There is no value to us continuing further. We've submitted everything that we can possibly submit. At the last meeting, we spent a long time discussing the fence, which is now part of this application. And with all due respect, the elements that I've heard about massing and sizing are Irvington have all been in zoning issues, not architectural review. If there's pretext to attack the project because of its size, that's an issue. But at this point, nothing left really to offer. So we would just ask for a receiving denial application, board's wish, that we can proceed and give Okamura's and their due process. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else on the board to speak? Anybody else from the public to speak?
Yes, there is somebody that's raising their hand. I'm going to promote them so they can talk.
Can you hear me? Yes, you can. Okay, so good evening, Chairman and members of the Board of Architectural Review. This is Kristen Wilson. I represent the Lowrys, the Pascos, and the Moores, the 6 individuals that immediately abut or are across the Hancock Place from this application. We have raised our concerns in a prior submission to this board last month. The concerns remain the same. We are very concerned about the appearance, the bulk, the size, the massing, many of the issues that your members have raised. We have a critical kind of threshold concern that the planning board did not follow the correct process. We believe that if they had, perhaps a lot of these issues that you are raising now would have been previously addressed, and you would not be struggling with them because you would have had an opportunity to raise them prior to the planning board granting its approval. We think that the impervious surface, the relocation of it directly across on Hancock Place is a significant issue, not just with respect to stormwater, but in terms of the character of Hancock Place and the neighborhood. Certainly the trees are a concern as well as the overall concept that has been put before this board. So I don't need to reiterate the arguments we put in our Article 78 papers or our prior letters, but I wanted to echo the concerns that have been raised already by some of your board members.
Okay.
Can I speak up? This is the owner of the house.
Yes, Mr. Okamura.
So while we moved in 2016 to this house, we found many shortcomings of the house, but we love the way it looks, which Christina Griffin designed originally, and we love the nature. So and the despite of shortcomings, we decided to stay. And when we learned we are having a baby a year ago, and since then we've been working on this project. And Christina, Josefa, and I went through many meetings because we had so many challenges. The aqueduct zoning, the buffer zoning, and to comply all the regulations. We spent many hours, not just Christina, it's Hudson Engineering and the landscape architect, arborist we hired, together with the village landscape architect, and all discussions were public from December to March. And we didn't hear any oppositions from neighbors during the open process. And if we are being denied now, and because they certainly realize that this is something going on, when they stayed home because of COVID and ask us to redo everything, I feel just unfair. And the previous claim that, well, we sneaked in all the applications, it's impossible. I think you know it. We sent a letter, we sent a notice to neighbors for the first planning board meeting, for the first zoning board meeting. And we really care about the nature. That's why we hired the arborist. We try to save the tree they are talking about by changing our driveway, the shape of the driveway. That's our effort. And it was the village suggestion to hire the arborist to check the health of the tree. And I'm a little bit having a hard time, the chairman's first comment and the last and the conclusion we are getting to, which is you cannot discuss all the bugs and design changes on which the planning board already approved, but this is going to get denied because of the bugness and the other things we already discussed with other board. If you can help us understand why these two conflicting things come together and not to board or to deny. I just don't get it, that point. And we've been doing everything we are supposed to do, and it leads to this point after over a year of spending hours and hours to find out what best we can do to preserve nature, preserve the character of the neighborhood. And if you really walk the street, this house offered by far the largest open green field, which we take care very carefully. Liens and pleas and are taken care of very carefully. And I think if you actually walk it, you talk about a lot about the character of neighbors. But if we are going to keep vast majority of the open space, our driveway will be at the end of the property. We are going to plant as many trees as possible, but because some trees suggest the safety risk, we don't have any other way to remove outside of removing it. The tree in question, the big branch fell down right next to our baby's room on this very stormy day in April. So it almost killed our baby if we keep the tree. And our yard, because it's so open, the people come in, dogs come in, coyote come in, deers come in. So I can let our baby play the ground. So that's all the things come together, and the Christina and other our team members worked hard to make it happen. And the denial, just, well, I don't like this is bulkiness, is a little bit too unfair for us, because especially like after we went through all the process in the right manner. And at this point, someone came in asking, would redo everything because they didn't know what was happening.
Mhm.
Except for one neighbor who were tracking everything. They knew the village recommended to check the arborist opinion, and your plan has to be changed accordingly. He knew it in February, before COVID. So I don't know what's the point of this. And at least I want you to help me understand
Well,
why after this month I'm facing this.
well, Mr. Okamura, what I can tell you now is most of the issues you just brought up have been decided upon by another board. That's not the ARB that makes, or at least not on this application. ARB has not made those decisions. The only thing that on this, because of the way the application was handled, the only thing that's come to us now is the fence, to discuss the fence, not the location of the fence, but the fence itself, its materials, its height, its how many gates, that kind of stuff. At this point, we had listened to Christina or her original presentation, and made some general architectural comments on the size of the or not the size, but the garage area itself. After that point, it was pointed out to us that these architectural issues have been decided not only by the planning board, but by the zoning board of appeals. The zoning board of appeals has said that this particular addition does not conflict with the architectural integrity of the neighborhood. That's not for me to say at this point. I don't personally feel that it does, but that's not that's only my opinion. It's not going to be held in this particular venue. So at this point, all I can do is ask for a motion to approve the landscaping changes in front of the garage, and take the fencing out of it.
Mr. Chairman, the fence is out, just so we understand. The fence is not part of this application. We took the fence out.
I know that.
I
know that.
So it's just the landscape, whatever is in the submission is what we're looking for approval tonight, okay? And we're asking for the ARB, not the fence. The fence is, we reserve our right if and when Okamura's ever decide to.
So at this point, I still have to make an amended, because they're on the drawings. I still have to make an amended approval or request for approval, because the fence does appear on the drawings.
Yeah, the fence appears on the site plan, but not on the landscape or the architectural drawing. Just so in the motion, if you want to make it that way.
And
Okay.
may I add just another comment for the applicant? One other thing I'd like to comment on is, Mr. Okamura, this application, I think, is as frustrating for us as it is for you in many ways, because it has not been handled in a fashion that typically is presented to the ARB. We too, now this is our third review of this, and we've made many comments up into this meeting that had to do with the scale, the massing, the location, even the finish. And each time we've heard from your lawyer that was something that was not within our purview, and we were not in a position to evaluate it, discuss it, or deliberate it. I personally disagree, and I don't understand the interpretation, but be that as it may, the concern that I have in particular is that your beautiful home is located in Ardsley Park in a rather unique location. You're on the aqueduct, you're on the corner where the stop sign is located, you're on a hill, and you're on one of the most beautiful blocks in Ardsley Park. And the characteristic of those homes, with the location of their garage, with the height, with the finish, and other details that are presented, you're proposing something that's very different. And then you add a fence on top of that to a property that is, again, a corner property with a rolling piece of front yard that is truly spectacular. So you take the changes that you've proposed to the existing house, and it presents many issues for us. And we've tried to tackle those issues one by one, both the addition of the garage, the relocation of the driveway, the addition of the fence, the landscaping, the removal of the trees. There's a lot of issues here. Each one of those issues we tried to tackle, but we've been met with your lawyer's response, which is it's not within our purview. So that's where we're here today. And although I think you've only participated in this one meeting of the ARB, there's been many conversations leading to this point. So that it just gives you a little bit of background, if you will, as to where we are today and trying to deliberate on this application.
Well, I appreciate the comment, but the discussion we had so many times with planning board was, well, if you care about the neighborhood, take care of the aqueduct first. Removing the driveway and the garage from the aqueduct side is a huge positive. That was that's why we had so many pushback from the planning board in terms of the design of our landscaping and everything. And the so the one part, the village suggested us to remove trees and move the driveway is a positive for the neighborhood. And at the different board, we are told, well, you cannot do it because it's not great for a few neighbors on that street. I'm kind of losing my way. What can we believe if there's the two very conflicting opinion we hear? It's just, if you follow all the discussions, it's just all on the aqueduct side, and then you should removing it is so positive, and it's you should planning more trees on the aqueduct side, and overall, including this additions, other boards are saying, well, this is actually the positive for the neighborhood. Through the discussion, this is the 4 open meetings, we received those feedbacks and no oppositions. And at the ARB, I believe this is where we discussed all the exterior, the details. Fence, we understand, that's why we removed. We may reconsider it. But the building itself, we went through so many discussions, and at this point it's just we need to discuss. Please, again, if we had this discussion at the beginning, the first planning board or second planning board, I get it.
All right, once again, we're talking about issues that we have no control over. The planning board, the zoning board, these are all issues that have come before our board. And at this point, the only thing we can do is take a vote on the application and move the application along. Do I have anybody that wants to make a motion to approve the application less the fence? Okay. Do I have a motion to deny the application less the fence?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Abstentions? Gail, I believe you're abstaining?
Right. Accused.
Okay. So at this point, the application has been denied. I'm sure whatever the process is going forward, that you'll be in a position to take it and move the process along.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and
Yep.
members of the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
All right. I apologize to the rest of the crowd, but we now move on to the other continuation, ARB 20-29 2 Fargo Lane fence. You have anybody raising their hand, Sarah?
Yes, there is somebody here.
Okay.
Hi,
Okay.
Sean Singer.
Yep. It should be
Representative.
noted before Mr. Singer makes his presentation that the neighbor of 2 Fargo Lane has sent a letter, Mr. Lustenberger. I'm not sure what number of Fargo Lane, it could be 8 or 9. But at this point, the letter stated that, in fact, to put the fence, and he's right, and we would have picked this up ourselves, but to put the fence right up against his fence, it will create a catch basin for leaves and sticks and trash that will be very difficult to remove. At this point, I would make a recommendation that the fences be at least 2 feet apart, preferably 3. And at some point, there should be a gate somewhere in the middle to be able to access it, to be able to clean it out. But that having been said, I will turn it over to our presenter.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, ARB Board, for the time. Sorry we missed the last meeting, which had some technical difficulties.
Things happen.
Regarding the fence, we were in receipt of the neighbor's letter as well. I believe it's 86 Fargo Lane that he is. And it just jumps a lot there, I guess. We're also in agreement with that we would move the fence back approximately 4 feet. There is a couple of large trees that border between the proposed fence and where the neighbor's fence currently is, but we would move it back a minimal of 4 feet to clear those trees and have an access way there for the landscapers to come in to clean up any leaves. There's not a heck of a lot of garbage in that neighborhood that flies in there. It's pretty clean, but at least for the fact of the leaves going in there and stuff like that. In the sense of having a gate in there, since it's not going to be closed on either end, it will just be kind of like a walkway between the two. I don't think that a gate is necessary, personally. There would really be no reason to it.
I didn't know whether or not it was enclosed, so.
It's not. It's just going to die off right into the existing shrubbery.
I'd hate to have to get a piece of paper that's in the middle and walk, 90 feet each way to have to get it, but actually 180, 90 there and 90 back. But anyway.
Yeah, and just because it's on the easement part of the property with 86 Fargo, it's an area that isn't really used, but very visible for prying eyes to look into the Douglas's residence, which they have done in the past, and has caused some concern with the homeowners. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Black chain link fence, 6 feet tall, 180 feet long, cemented into posts in the ground, similar to what's currently there, which is a 4-foot fence by the neighbor. And that's really it. It's kind of pretty simple. Nothing more than that.
So can I ask you, so you're adding a fence for privacy, why not landscape?
Well, there'll be landscaping in front of it eventually as well, but for the purposes of the privacy, they want to put this fence up right now and possibly some slats or something like that in afterwards. They're just not sure which way they want to go. And it's kind of just like an immediate need right now.
So is the idea you're going to be adding slats to your side of the fence? Because otherwise I don't understand why you would put your fence just 2 feet taller in front of the existing fence instead of landscaping if you're aiming for privacy. The slats add a different dimension, and I didn't see that as part of the application.
It's not part of the application at all at this point, because the homeowner hasn't decided what they wanted to do. To put in 180 feet of landscaping that's 6 to 8 feet tall, significant cost difference between putting an 8-foot fence up, a 6-foot fence up, chain link fence up in front there.
But how does a 6-foot chain link fence add more privacy to a chain link fence that's already there?
Because I guess at some future point that they wanted to add something onto the fence, some sort of slatting or something like that, they could, to cut off that view that paparazzi that are having from the Fargo Lane that are shooting their cameras into their front door.
Did you answer the request for some questions that we sent? Because one of the questions I did ask was about slatting, and I don't think I got an answer on it.
We did answer it, and I believe the answer was that at this time there was no reason that the homeowners wanted to put sliding in there, that they were going to wait until the fall to put some landscaping in, basically. I mean, it's a weird situation because the fence that's currently there now isn't their fence, but it divides the property line, and they wanted to close that section off and put landscaping in front of the fence later on in the fall when the weather becomes nicer for planting, at least anyway. It's a very shaded area there because of the high trees that are there right now. So to put something in right now wouldn't make a lot of sense for them, but they really just wanted to get this fence in there to close off whatever was going on.
Could I
have
ask,
options later on?
could I ask the building department if slats are required an additional approval? Mr. Ed, you there? Sarah, is that there?
I'm gonna check.
Too many buttons, I'm sorry.
Whether maybe it's better to put a wood or another type of fence if you're really looking for that kind of privacy.
Yeah, sorry, Rick, I'm too many buttons.
Sorry. I don't know if you heard what we were discussing. Is putting slats in a chain link fence
They'd have to
required?
come back to your board.
They will.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But landscaping is not generally approved by the planning board, ARB.
Right.
I mean, I think this between the security and the screening that the fence will provide and the height of the fence, I think is an important matter. The fence that's existing there isn't as tall.
No, I got it.
All right.
Okay.
And it's managed by the neighbor, not by the owner, the gate. That's the other problem.
Right.
The fence is ownership of the neighbor, so they can't lock the gate.
Right. I got it.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. What do we mean there's a gate?
There's a driveway with a gate in it.
Yeah, the driveway, yeah, but the fence that you're installing on your side isn't running the entire length, correct?
It's not my side. I'm the building inspector.
No, I'm not asking you. To our applicant.
It starts at the entry gate and goes 180 feet.
That's correct.
So-
That's what he's talking about.
So how, but what does that give you in terms of, you're not running the entire length of your property. You're only going, it almost stops halfway, doesn't it? Because that's a pretty long run.
That's a very long run. Yes, it's.
So why
it's
are you stopping halfway? If security is the issue, why aren't you running it the entire length?
Security is only one part of the issue. It's not the full issue, though. The privacy is the main issue. When we went and putting it up to 4 feet back from where the existing fence is, will put us right to where the existing gate basically is now. That belongs to the Douglases.
I thought the gate belonged to the neighbors.
Yes,
No,
the existing gate that's there up on the property line belongs to the neighbors. There's an interior gate that comes in off that side driveway with 2 columns that are there that comes in off the easement of 86 Fargo. And then when you actually have to turn through the gate of the neighbors to enter the gate for the 2 Fargo Lane, the side service gate, I guess it's called, because it comes into their garage entrance. There's 3 entrances to the property: a Broadway entrance, a 2 Fargo Lane entrance, and then there's this 86 Fargo Lane off the easement. There is a 3rd entrance to the property existing.
If it's on Fargo Lane, you have to actually travel on the neighbor who wrote the letter, 86 Fargo Lane, to get to that gate, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Permission, you can't enter that gate, correct?
Well, there's an easement there, so yeah, they seem to be friends, so I guess there's not when he keeps it, when the gentleman keeps his gate locked, then yes, the Douglases would not have access to it.
Okay. The reason I'm struggling here is, one, you've got an important boundary line with a neighbor who sent us a letter objecting to what you're installing. So it sounds like there hasn't been a lot of conversation about this fence.
That's not true, actually. He's not
He's
objecting. He's not objecting to what we're installing. He
Objecting-
asked that we just move it back a couple of feet so that it
Correct.
could be kept clean. He didn't object at all, matter of fact.
He's objecting to the location
Yes.
in the letter that I read.
I also thought it was, of course I can't pull it up right now. I understood he was objecting to the distance between the two fences because with the problems that it will create in terms of cleaning it. But I also thought it's kind of odd that it stops. It's pretty visible where it stops when you're traveling down Fargo Lane. It doesn't run the entire length. So you're going to have a short fence with a higher fence behind it for pretense of for privacy. But it strikes me that if you're really looking for privacy, that slats are going to go in, and I don't understand why you're not applying for slats at the moment.
I'm not aware. The homeowners have not asked me to put slats in, so we're not. They asked me to install a fence, and I was submitted it as a fence. At this time, if we need to put slats in or the homeowner feels that way, we'll definitely come back to you. But regarding what you're saying about the 180 feet, the 180 feet goes right up into a shrubbery line. So the fence is going to die off right into a shrubbery line. You're not walking down Fargo Lane and going, oh, there's an 8-foot fence and there's a 4-foot fence, because you don't even see the 4-foot fence because it's all the way down the guy's driveway. And then you have a 6-foot fence all the way up at 2 Fargo Lane entrance with steel gates. And then it goes 6 feet on their property line high. And then it goes back down to 4 feet at 86 Fargo Lane. So we're just saying we're putting in the 180 feet to close off that one area section that is visible to prying eyes, to prying eyes, I guess you want to say.
Okay, I get it. Anybody else? Questions?
And just to clarify, no trees are being taken down, because I did look at the location of those trees.
No, those are beautiful trees, very big. That's what I'm saying. It might not be exactly 4 feet. It might be 5 feet. It might be 6 feet, because the trees there are hundreds of years old. I mean, they're huge.
Right.
The bases on some of those trees are over 3 feet in diameter.
Right, but what we have to approve tonight is the exact location. So my understanding is we don't just approve a fence, we approve exactly where you're putting it. So when I looked at the location of the trees, I question whether it's 4 feet or it should be more. I think the further back you put it, the more confident we can feel that you're giving the homeowner at 86 Fargo Lane enough space to get in between to clean, you to clean, I suppose, because but also that you're clearing those trees. Have you measured it? Is it 4 feet, 5 feet? What do you need?
They're all over the place. It's not just one line. There's trees at 2 feet. There's trees at 3 feet. There's trees at 5 feet. We're going to have to kind of.
So the fence is going to zigzag?
When we're trying not to make it zigzag, we're just going to try to get a straight line on there. But I can't honestly tell you it's going to be exactly 4 feet, because I have trees all through that area, 2, 3, 4 feet.
But that's the okay. Well,
I mean, it's on the property line. It's not even on the property line. Does it really make a difference whether it's 5 feet or 4.5 feet?
It makes a difference in the sense that if you're going to zigzag this fence, because I don't think
I'm not going to zigzag it. It doesn't make any sense. They come in 10-foot sections. They're steel poles or aluminum poles that come in 10-foot sections. They're not, unless I'm going to start connecting trees to trees. That doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it will be one straight line that goes across.
At a minimum of 4 feet. With
at a minimum of 4 feet. I think that's fair to the neighbor and fair to everybody else. If it happens to be a big tree in the way, we'll make it 4.5 feet.
I'm fine with that.
Did you say that there's a service entrance? Are you adding a gate for the service entrance?
No, existing. Everything's existing. It's there. It's just off an easement that was there, I guess, way back when. I'm not sure exactly the time when the easement was put in, but it's that entrance is never used by them. I mean, other than some construction activity, but
No,
that's about it.
What I meant was you're 180 feet. Is there a gate inside that? Because you said there was some service entrance somewhere.
At the end of the top of Fargo Lane.
It's a totally different area.
Yeah, Fargo Lane comes and then wraps around toward the right as you pass the house. 86 Fargo has a driveway that comes down towards the river. Not nearly that far down, but goes down towards the river, probably 200, 300 feet down. That's the easement that the Douglases have with 86 Fargo Lane. At that point, at 200 feet down, there's a separate motorized gate that's there, similar to what's on the Broadway entrance and similar to what's on the 2 Fargo entrance. Same exact design, columns with a steel motorized gate.
Okay. Anybody else? Questions? Okay. I'm confident. I'm just going to ask for a motion to approve. I'm sure Ed can work with the contractor and putting the fence in a place that's suitable for both the homeowner and the village and the neighbor, frankly. Do I have a motion to approve the fence?
Rick, before you do that, can you just make it a motion to be no closer than 4.5 feet from 4 feet or 4.5, whatever you want, from the property line, and parallel and straight? Include that in your motion, please.
Okay. Motion to approve the fence that's at least 4.5 feet from the neighbor's fence and to try to keep it in an exact straight line.
So moved.
And that is to be without slats.
So moved.
Second?
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your time, board.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. We are now going to go to the revision 20-40, 18 Meadowbrook Lane, windows.
Hi, good evening. Oops, let's get some video there. There we go. Hi, good evening. Douglas McClure for the Staberskys. This application was brought to you by a different architect originally, but I have been asked to take over the project. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. Essentially, what we are asking to do, this came about because of they actually wanted to change their kitchen, and I'm sorry for this plan. For some reason, the old kitchen cabinets did not turn off when I plotted it. But we changed the interior plan to move the kitchen from this location into this back family room. And so that resulted in changing some windows. The kitchen window here. This existing window becomes a sliding door out to the patio. And then the other thing we added was from the mudroom, we added a door to the exterior. The other change to the building itself is in order to save some money on the budget. The previous plan had a very large roof construction so that the garage roof changed. What we've done is we've kept the existing gable of the garage roof, and we just extended it to the back. The addition is the same, we just changed the roof line on it. The siding is the same as you previously approved, but in the gable of the garage and of the mudroom, we're adding a vertical hardy plank in the same color, just vertical sort of beaten board and batten hardy plank. The other change that we're requesting is in the back windows. They're looking for a more modern look, but they also want to really appreciate their garden. So we've taken out the divided lights in these windows and that door to make it more open. In this existing bedroom, however, at the corner, we kept the divided lights there because when you're, oops, when you're in the room itself, these two windows, or this one window, I believe, is in that room. So that room should have a consistent grill pattern in both its windows. And I think that's what I have.
Any questions from the board? Ken? Nothing? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Ken?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good to go, Doug.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You too. All right. Then we're moving to new matters. ARB 20-30, 5 Riverview Terrace, exterior elevation change.
Okay, somebody is here.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matthew Paul Cairo. I'm here with Arthur Chabon Architects.
Okay. You have the ability to turn your camera on?
I'm afraid I don't have a camera attached to my computer.
Okay. Does anybody in your party have a?
Yes, I believe Arthur, our principal, has a camera.
Yep. I got you. All right.
Hello?
Yep, we're here.
Ah, good. Sorry about that, folks.
No problem.
Okay, so I need to share my screen, which is not clicking properly.
Well, we are looking at the screen.
There's a plan up, Arthur.
Oh, you do see it. Okay, great. I didn't realize that. Okay, terrific. I'm sorry about that. So I'm Arthur Chabon, the architect representing Vicky and Steve Greeter for the changes at 5 Riverview Terrace. So you can see in our plan, the shaded area is what we're proposing. This is at the rear of the building. There is an existing paved terrace that we're proposing to cover to create an outdoor covered space for them. The red arrows indicate the various views you'll be seeing. This is this addition is essentially invisible from the front of the building. This is what we're proposing at the rear, which is the sort of pedimented roof, the 4 new columns, which copy the existing simple columns of the building. This is the side view, and you can see the degree to which this projects out, and then the space underneath is simply the covered terrace. See if I can get to the next slide. This is the view of the building from the exterior. This was originally actually a Sears Roebuck catalog building. Back in 2006, we did a small addition, which you can get a peek of here at the left. And this is the rear of the building with our addition back of 2006, and then the area where we are proposing to do the covered terrace. Another view of the same. And then the terrace would be actually on the other side of the addition. More view from the rear. And then finally, this is a perspective showing you what the addition will look like. Here, looking in the other direction, I think you're looking basically northwest here. And if it will click. Here we go, and then with the addition. All the colors are going to match exactly what's on the building now. The gable will get painted clapboard, and the columns, the white trim to match what's existing. And that's really it. It's a simple project here.
Ken, any comments?
No comment.
Well, I personally want to thank you for the great presentation. I mean, it's everything we needed to see. if you've got no comments coming out of this board, you did pretty well.
Yeah, sounds like it based on your other meetings.
Yeah. You've been on the phone, on the computer a while, I guess.
Yes, I have.
Okay. Do I have any comments from the board? Do I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
Very good. Okay. We move on to ARB 20-31, 255 South Buckout addition.
Can you hear me? Oh, my screen is. Hello?
Yep. We hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh, start video. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Alrighty. Good evening, board members. Adamo Majorano from Community Designs and Engineering. On behalf of the applicant, Yifta Fretcher, we are proposing additions and alterations to 255 South Buckout Street. What we tried to do ultimately is create a aesthetic appeal that was desired by the applicant, but also keeping in mind the characteristics of the neighborhood and trying to create an addition and alterations to the house that will fit better within the neighborhood in which it is situated in. Ultimately, I'm going to share my screen. Okay. You know, if it's, you see the drawing? Oh, okay. So basically the addition will take place on the right side of the dwelling. It's over the existing one-story garage. This is mainly to create additional bedrooms that is for the applicant's growing family. And what we tried to do is create sort of an addition that will try to mingle in and create sort of a lower massing, actually even adding to the house, but then creating a lower massing of the house. Basically the alteration to the front porch, the two-story massive front portico in the center hall colonial style. What we're doing with that, we're bringing it down to a one single level, one-story portico with a standing seam metal roof and new AZAC wrapped columns, and then setting that front roof gable over that front portico back to the existing roof, again, to try to bring that massing down. The addition will consist of hardy plank shaker shingles, and there'll be sort of, I don't know if you could see the color of the house. I think it's a light mist, a hardy plank siding to match the existing. And the side of the home, there'll be a new portico that we are proposing that will part of the interior alteration. There's a mudroom there now, and that'll enter into the mudroom. The face of it will be a stone to match the front of the house on the platform. And again, all the features in the house, the soffits and the column wraps will be white AZAC, as well as the soffits and the decorative gables are AZAC as well. The roof will be a black asphalt shingle roof throughout the entire dwelling. And
is the entire roof being replaced?
The entire roof will be replaced. Mainly they have to alter the front dormer, actually, well, I wouldn't call it the gable going back, and part of the new addition as well. Then, as well as the portico, there's also a standing seam metal roof on that as well. The, I guess, lighting fixtures are as depicted on our elevations. There'll be one hanging light over the front door and another one over the proposed portico as well on the side of the residence. And, you know, just trying to break up that massing with the stone and the siding. We have a little flare that we created so it'll break the existing sort of stone veneer and the siding with the proposed new, so that you don't really see that big contrast, and trying to really match those two elements together.
Adoma, can you show us some of the details, the profiles of the trim? And I don't see the gutter. I don't see the gutter on here, but I might be missing it.
So yeah, the gutter, it's on the side
I see
elevations
it.
here.
Now
But
I
the
see it,
gutters,
yeah, but it's not on the front. Yep.
no, yeah, if I could zoom in here to see, you know, basic profile is on the porticos, you know, your typical molding along the soffits, and as well as the columns, and as well as the front portico as well.
Put in my network, I think.
Sort of here, so that girder will be wrapped in AZAC, and then the soffits will have typical AZAC molding underneath it as well.
It was brick front. The building.
And then as well as a line of molding underneath the flares as well, with some corbels, decorative touch, because that sort of gable in the front bumps out about a foot.
And are you, you're replacing all the windows?
We are not, no, we're not replacing the windows. Sorry, actually, that's another thing. So some of the grills are missing on the existing home. So really what we're trying to do, also cost involved as well, to create a 8/1 grill pattern and make that consistent with the addition and the existing house. See, some of them are 8/8, but then half of the house, they're missing some. So trying to create a little consistency in that.
There's 6/1 on the drawings. Is it 8/8?
Yes, yeah, sorry about that. So that was a mixed print on the drawing. They're actually 8. Well, some of them are missing. So like I said, in the house, so there will be 8/1 proposed.
So these
But
are
yes.
snap-on grills on the original house.
Yes, on the original, they would have to replace every window. And, you know, with cost involved, the applicant didn't, you know.
And the windows that are the replacement windows are which windows are they? Because it's not specified. We're sort of.
They will be Anderson 400 series windows.
So I'm going to say, can you go to the detail sheet? I think it's page 6. If I can read your.
Or the cross. No, that's just the cross section. Detail sheet.
Yeah. Oh, I thought there was a detailed sheet.
And then, well, this is just the existing elevation again. Sorry about that. The window grills are technically 8/8, but half of them are 8/8, half of them have nothing. Yeah.
But they are going to change to all 8/1.
We would do all 8/1. Yeah. Try to get away from that big center hall colonial massing and try to go into more of that new American craftsman style thing that's going on in the neighborhood. As you can see, 10 Half Moon has that kind of style going. Sure.
Can you zoom in on the front porch just to go through what the steps are and what the plan is for those?
Sure. Well, the platform and everything will stay the same. We are proposing a new metal railing. The existing, there is no railing, but with the height by code, we will need one. And it'll be new AZAC trim columns, wrapped columns, AZAC fascia, the standing seam metal roof on that as well.
Okay, but you're not getting rid of the fascia stone. It looks like, I mean, there's a lot of work that's going on here, and bravo for getting rid of the portico.
Okay.
Really great. We can't wait to see it. I see other things that aren't happening that are more in style with that, which is I don't see shutters being added to this. I'm sort of a little surprised, just given that they're not doing the window replacement. And then there's no detailing on the scale, or is the metal railing white or is it painted black? Because you said it's like a lot. The drawings are not complete. They're not marked. There it is. You can see it on the side view. Yeah, but there's no indication of color or material in this. It's a very lightweight set. As much drawing as it's yeah.
Yeah, to that point, the other thing I didn't
Oh, I'm
understand,
sorry. Okay, yeah. Yeah, sorry. Oh, go ahead.
which of the windows are being replaced? Usually,
So only the ones that are colored in blue are the new windows. The other windows are not being replaced. They're all existing.
So how many total?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe. 2 in the back, 2 on the side, and 1 in the front.
What about those
With the
round-
circle windows as well are new. In the attic part and the bedroom will have a little raised ceiling height as well inside there. The circle window in the front.
Your chart up there on the right says Anderson 200. Is that correct? Or is
I'm
it-
sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. The Anderson 200 series with the grills.
Yeah, we kind of, that's why we don't like them, because they're snap-ons.
Sure.
We don't like the Anderson 200s. It's like a kind of crappy.
Because that,
I can't see the side element.
Can I interrupt? This is the homeowner. Can I interrupt?
Sure.
Yeah, but it should be Anderson 400 based on the contract that I have with the builder. This is a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, apologize for that.
Okay. And the drawings are not, so 6/1. It's supposed to be 8/, is going to be 8/1 on the addition?
Yes, 8/1 to match the
Both of
existing.
these issues will be on the amended approval, should there be one.
Of course.
And is there a color detail on that, on the trim on the windows and the doors?
Just white AZAC trim on the windows and the doors. So all of the trim is white AZAC on the addition part, and then the color to match the existing light mist hardy plank.
And you're leaving the brick as is on
We-
the house and matching it on the addition? Or you're
But
doing?
the brick or the stone?
Okay, yeah, I see where you changed it.
It says on number 10 that there's PVC.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm sorry. Just to correct that as well. So it would be AZAC trademark PVC white railing in the front and the side portico, not a metal railing.
There's something funky about the planes. Is the garage in the same plane as the, this is what I'm having trouble. The garage is in the same plane as the house?
Yes, it's all in line.
Okay, but the wood is just running right in, that's, see, right where your arrow is, you're kind of, can you follow that line down? Can you, what's going on there?
Here, well, the shake siding will start, and that's where the stone ends.
So the roof line runs up underneath the other roof line.
Yes, exactly. Just again to kind of break that
I'm gonna say
straight line.
Yeah, it's too big. It's. I mean, you are stuck with this thing where you have the facade. It really isn't the same line. There's no break between the garage and the main house.
And then the bump out above will jog out and come back in.
Right. I understand the little funky door thing. So now you have this new element, which is not insubstantial, sticking out of the building. It's like you've made a really good effort to, the main house, if I put my hand over the garage, great, all the good effort. I do think you should have shutters, and that would be more in keeping with the style that you're doing. And then there's this big hulking garage piece being added. And the windows are bigger. That you know what, maybe that's what it is. The windows on the bumper, no, they're bigger, right? And so it sort of pushes it out even more so.
Yes, because the emergency egress windows require the new code requires them to.
Yeah.
So they're the smallest they can be, double hung to be emergency egress windows.
But you're kind of playing the scale game, which is not helping you. It's sort of the garage is now getting big. It's pushing itself out from the. It's a little confused. I'll just say it. Would it be any effort to maybe getting rid of because the stone wall doesn't wrap around, does it? Right? On the garage, it's a veneer.
It does not. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's only on the front.
So what I would say is, what you want to do is make that distinction between the addition and the house now, when you have the opportunity, just as you've done with getting rid of the portico, which is great, and we all support. I say we all agree. But that stone wall that's continuous, you could peel off the veneer, have the hardy board wrap around, and you'd have an addition, a wooden addition, similar to an discussion we were having earlier.
We're just trying to set the addition, I guess, over the line of the garage.
I
You
know.
meaning set, yeah, so construction-wise, yeah, we're
Right.
setting
so you're
that
going,
above.
all you're doing is you're changing this material here to the same material that's coming around the corner. Like you've done all this effort to make it a little
Oh, no.
more.
Oh, I'm sorry. All of that is existing that will remain.
I understand that. I'm
Oh,
suggesting that you peel it off and put the hardy board on it. Have it wrap around. You've done all this effort to bump that, to make this.
Oh, taking the stone out. Oh, okay.
Take the stone out below, put the hardy board up, and it's consistent. It's an element. It's unto itself. I'm not sure you do all of it, but I just think it would help us a whole lot. Like right now, you have the big, massive bushes in front of that, right? You don't see the
Sure.
garage.
Exactly. And then those are considered to stay and remain, and anything that part of the planning board was to replace in size and character. If they
Right.
were,
Exactly.
affected.
And now you can see that stone wall, and it's sort of the weird dog leg there.
Well, what I'm saying is, yeah, the front would be.
Would you consider peeling off that stone, which has looks like a veneer? It's not holding up anything, and just putting the hardy board on that return. You're sort of making a big effort. Again, that dormer is almost as big as the pediment piece that you put up there. I just think there's a way to make it seem a little more like the addition that it is, that you've made this effort for.
I agree, Ken. That's a great idea.
Removing the stone and put the shake siding. Yeah, I
I agree. I you know what, I think it's a good idea. Also note your offer about the shutter is noted as well. I think we should definitely consider that. Yeah, I agree.
And Ken, would the shutters be on the upper windows, all windows? What do you
All windows, all windows. Maybe not on the porch, but it's generally on all the windows.
in the front of.
On the front.
I presume, yeah.
Maybe not the shake windows, but because that's a double window, maybe not there.
That's
the
typically,
two new
yeah.
ones, yeah.
I think that looked great.
Saying front and the two side windows.
Yeah, yeah.
What color?
I like blue.
leave that to the architect.
I would like it to be blue. What do you say? Let's vote on that.
Terrific.
All right, there's been so many changes here. It looks like we're going to have this come back.
Oh boy. Okay. Trying to write down some notes.
Okay. Ivan, the fence in the front, just you might need to look at how it's hitting the columns. Just sort of take a look at that. You might just pull it away a little bit. Don't attach it to the columns. Just have it stand upright. Minor things, just tweaking it a little bit.
Okay. I mean, what we would probably propose too, as you were saying, with the siding in the front, probably bring a little water table of the stone, leaving a water table of stone, and then going up with the.
Yeah, and again, there's notes missing. So on the garage side, that's where you would take the stone that you've peeled off the front and wrap it around. Do you see how you have it between the garage doors?
Where the foundation level is.
Yeah, the water, exactly. The stone come around. I bet that was your intent. You just didn't. Wasn't drawn.
To put, face that with stone and then go from there with shake siding up.
No, just these areas here would be stone.
Okay.
Those pieces.
But I'm sorry, in the front, are you proposing to say remove that stone, creating the water table stone, and add the shake siding from there, from the stone all the way up?
I would actually think the hardy board, I mean, you should look at it. You really should, is because you have the clapboard on the garage side, and just see if that's what you want to do. You might want to look around at some of the older houses on Ardsley. You'll see that mix where they have shake, or in Barney Park where they have shake above and then hardy board or something else.
Exactly. We could do the flat and then
Yep.
do our transition as we have it with the flare to the shake.
Yep.
Any other comments, questions from the board?
And just by the way, I think you might want to pull it down so it aligns with the edicule on the side, the side door. Just pull it down a little bit. Again, this is minor, just tweaking. Not twerking, tweaking.
Pull it down. Yeah, I mean,
a
sometimes
lo-
we go to a windowsill, or we'd go to the height
Right,
of
to
the
the head,
portico.
to the head of the window. Right?
Okay.
Right, have the piece of wood, and that way it align with
Oh, well,
this.
well, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, in this case, we have it because the framing of, well, we could always drop it. The framing, the floor framing extends over for that dormer, so it's basically at that point where the floor extends over, but we could do a fake soffit and drop it.
Overall, it's a great design and a great addition for the
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so you'll make these adjustments and changes and speak to the owner and make sure he's on board with everything, and then come back to us at the next meeting, and we'll look like we'll be ready to approve it.
Okay. Okay, perfect. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate the comments and thoughts and suggestions.
We appreciate your patience as we
Sure.
appreciate the patience of everybody behind you.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, ciao.
All right.
Okay. All right, moving on to ARB 20-32, 2 Heritage Hill Road, addition.
Oops. So I'm hoping that you can see me and hear me.
See you and hear you.
That's great. This is a great house. I think most of you are probably familiar with it. It's the old Howdy Marshall house. Howdy used to be the chair of the planning board, and Marshall's Pond is adjacent to this. It's a house that's like 150 years old, and we had the opportunity and fund to do a lot of renovation to it about 20 years ago for the previous owners, and we now have the opportunity to work with the Bins, who want to do what I think are some really fun things for this project. This is showing the property. We've got the driveway coming in. There's a loop driveway now. We're eliminating the loop. We're taking down 2 trees. We originally were taking down 11, but we ended up reducing that significantly. It's a large piece of property. It's over 80,000 square feet. We have been through the planning board, we've been through the zoning board, and now we have the opportunity to speak with you. This is the site plan that shows what we're proposing to do, which is an addition along the south side of the house, which is facing Marshall's Pond. It pops out a little bit. This is actually a 2-story element that we're adding, which gives them a new kitchen and a yoga room on the 2nd floor, a new front entranceway, which I'll show in a minute, and then a 2-car garage that gets built back into the hillside. There's a very good landscaping plan for this, which I'll show you in a minute. These are just, I don't think you need to go in any of this, but tell me if there's anything you're concerned about. That's all the FAR, all of the site coverages, and how all of that is calculated, but I think that's primarily planning board. So I'll skip over that stuff. And here we have the existing plans, the existing elevations, but I'll show you those in tandem with the changes that we're making. Again, this is just site work where we're showing retaining walls. Here's the landscaping plan. As you can see, it's extensive. This is the landscaping plan that's proposed for the actual work that's being done. But Daniel and Charlotte Benz have committed to doing a 10-year restoration of the landscaping on the property, and they're working with some really fun people to with butterfly or pollinator pathways, and doing a lot of other really great stuff. So to just show you kind of the massing so you understand what the additions are, we're pulling the front steps out further so we have a little bit more of a sense of entrance. We're bringing the front wall of the house across so that when the door swings in, you don't feel like it's swinging into the hall in front of the staircase. Where right now this wall comes across and dies into here, comes across to here and runs back. And so we're building this portion out here. This is the 2-story portion that pops out in front. And then we're building a 1-story addition along this side, which has skylights in it. And on the first floor, it's showing, that's basically where the kitchen proper is. And then this is a screen porch. We're also doing some deck work on the back, a brand new deck in the front, steps that come down so you can walk down along the property. There are great trails, and very minor work in the back of the house. We're taking out the old kitchen. Right now, the edge of the house is right about where the word fireplace is. So we're squaring that corner off, putting in a fireplace that's scaled to the size of this room, keeping the entrance porch, the first floor bathroom, taking a little space off of that for a butler's pantry, which will actually work as a wet bar for what will be a media room. On the second floor, this is the area that's the second floor addition. This is the kind of fun yoga Belvedere room. Quirky little steps to get up into there because of the interesting roof lines on this house. This is the existing master. We are changing the front right here, bumping out just a little bit to make that window have a sense of scale on the outside of the house. But it makes the room feel, it feels like a bigger room, better closets. Again, squaring this room off in the back so that that bedroom has a little bit better proportion, a little bit better for use of the room itself. This is just showing that there will be some basement space. There's a finished basement now in a portion of it. We haven't really talked about what this will be, but because that elevation faces towards Marshall's Pond, and of course, if you're walking by Marshall's Pond, you can look up the slope and see this house. So we didn't treat anything here as though it were a back. We figured everything we're doing is kind of has a frontal sense to it, even though it's back in the woods. So these are the elevations. This is the west elevation. This is the front door relocated. That's recessed back under this form here, which carries across. This is that bump out in the bedroom above, the 2-story addition with the kind of breakfast room and the kitchen here, yoga room above. This is the yoga room from the other side. This is the kitchen proper. This is the screen porch. You can walk out the end of the screen porch onto the deck, walk down to the yard, walk out from the kitchen, breakfast area onto the deck, walk down into the yard.
And is this what they'll see from Marshall's Pond?
This is what they'll see from Marshall's Pond, but actually what I should do is skip to, here's the elevation of that front. Here's the front existing. This is what we're doing to it, and that's more important perhaps on this side. This is the Marshall's Pond side. 2 elevations on that because it was hard to get any place you could really see everything. This is what's existing facing towards Marshall's Pond, and that's what we're proposing. As I said, it's not intended to look like it's the back of something. We're hoping that it feels like it has a very, very mannered relationship facing towards the pond as people walk by. There is about a 25-foot change of level, a retaining wall, stone retaining wall, and lots of landscaping. But still, when you walk by Marshall's Pond, my hope is that people will look up into the woods and see this kind of really fun house. This is, we kind of did the same thing on the other 2 elevations. These are the east and the north elevation. This is kind of looking at that, that north side. This is, that drawn up in existing, and that's what we're doing to it. I mean, these can kind of toggle back and forth to really see how, it isn't perfect because we're not changing the gambrel. And this is the side. This is that existing side. And then this is how it changes with what we're proposing to do. Some sections just showing that, we have some nice spaces inside with the screen porch opening to the skylights above. We played a little bit of a game with the way the floor of the yoga room works to lift the ceiling up in the breakfast room, so that feels like it's a tall space. I think that'll be kind of fun. And then we've proposed the 2-car garage, which has usable space on the upper floor, kind of a garden shed set up where they can, have things and store them, a nice space. And one of the things that we're trying to do is make this house very sustainable, very energy efficient. So we are looking into the capacity of having a solar array on the roof, and we've actually oriented the roof and shaped the angle of the roof so that it really takes advantage of south light. But my hope is that by the time we're actually putting solar collectors on, we'll be in 3rd generation, and we won't have the idea that the light has to penetrate through a 4-inch high thing, but is more crystals. But that's up to Musk.
Yeah, you realize that anything approved tonight will not have solar panels in it.
Correct. We have to really know what we're doing with the solar panels to be able to make that a real point. And I didn't want to, at the same time, I didn't want to do one of those where I don't show it and no one knows it might be coming, and then all of a sudden everybody's saying, "Oh, that's why you did that roof." So we've set that up to work. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys have to really see on this. Everything else is pretty much a lot of care given into the drainage components of this, because we are within 100 feet of Marshall's Pond. So there's a lot of care and consideration given to that. But while we are clearly changing some things, no doubt about it, our goal is to have it kind of embrace the quirkiness that the house currently has. And all the materials are following from the existing materials on the house. The colors are following from existing colors. So we're hoping that this fits in really nicely as it currently does and continues to do so, with a additional space that'll make it better for this family.
The new roofs are going to match the old, or you redoing all the roofs?
My guess at this point, because that roof is not that old and it was a lifetime roof, it's in pretty good shape. So our idea is just to have all of the new roofs be the same as the existing roof.
What about skin finishes on the facade of the building?
Everything is the same materials, wood shingles. We have a little bit of clapboard that we've introduced, just in panels, just working into the way this thing articulates itself. But the colors are all coming the same as existing, carrying the idea of the stone base on the bay that we built out the back in the previous, but carrying that around on the side. So it embraces that presence of stone on the site, which I think is one of the things that makes it handsome.
What about materials on the porch?
On the deck?
Yeah.
That's, we didn't make a decision in time for it to really draw in. The idea is that this is all brick. So everything that's supporting the deck itself is brick. And because by the time we actually got with the heights and worked out, we realized these panels are fairly large. So we broke them up, have lattice in the top, have verticals on it. So it breathes, it carries air through, but it doesn't feel like it's kind of this big vault, open space that is awkward to look at.
What about decking material?
Decking material, we've proposed Ipe with the slots on the side with the little buttons so that it attaches down. All the railings are the same mahogany balusters and rails that are on the existing house.
You show that elevation existing?
Sure. You want me to toggle back a couple times?
Just once.
Oops.
And can you go to the site plan?
Yep. Well, this one or
the first one you had.
Yeah.
A larger scale one.
Yep.
No. It was one where you could bigger. Nope.
I think it may have been that landscape.
There you go.
Yep.
That's it. Can you? I can zoom. Tell me about why they're so close to each other.
The garage and the house?
Yeah.
Because when I had it located over here and I was going to have to take down 2 quality or 3 quality trees to make it work, I got significant pushback from the planning board. So we shifted the garage closer to the house. I think with the way that this fits in, with the way this is kind of buried on the sides and the retaining wall comes around, I don't think it's going to feel that it crowds the house. It actually kind of gives you a little bit of a Acropolis, positioning where these things are focusing out into this area, which one of the things, the reason we're removing so much of the driveway is the idea that this is really, could be a really great lawn. So the idea is to really have this be an active place that's enjoyed in the house, and the buildings are kind of focusing down on that.
Didn't hurt you.
Oh,
Didn't hurt
can you
you
go back? Go back. So it's an asphalt, the whole thing's asphalt?
This is existing asphalt.
Uh-huh. So you didn't end up going with the permeable.
Well, I'm a big fan of the permeable pavers. I realize it's a cost factor. I'd want to discuss that with my client before I just spend their money. But I do think that, I mean, we're going to be doing enough work on that. It's interesting how this thing changes.
I'm not sure I know what the answer to this is, but let me just use a pen, sorry. I don't know the answer.
Which thing? Oh.
No, sorry, that's just using the wrong pen. So this wall here, it seems like when you're approaching, all you're going to see is this side of the wall. What's the grade difference between here and here where the house is?
The wall gets to be about 5 feet tall up at the top.
Uh-huh.
It's 2 feet, and the house is up about the first floor of the house is probably up 5 feet from.
No, I know it. I used to go there. It's up also. It's sort of that view. It just feels like this to here seems so tight.
Yeah.
And this is all new over here, right? That
Yeah, these are new trees that we're putting in. The tree that we're saving that affects that is this tree right here.
What tree? Oh, that tree.
Yeah, if we weren't saving that tree, the next tree we'd be trying to save is this tree, at which point we could slide this garage over probably a good 10 feet. I do have to go back to the planning board at their August meeting. I was kind of hoping to go back with kind of nothing that was terribly exciting, but I can discuss that with Ed. If that's something, my personal view on it is, and I do love trees, but we're proposing quite a few trees, and sliding this 10 feet to the south. I do agree with you. I mean, what I'd actually like to have is that if I took a 45 from this corner of the house and drew it like that, this line would move down to that. So that would slide that far.
No, that's what I was thinking too. Even that you're doing this, right? And that, right, and this slides over here. You can't get it to do that. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's not hard work.
I think the concern is.
No. I got it. I just think this right. You know what I'm talking about. So the dimension between these two seems really tight. Even though I know this is a low sloped roof, I keep thinking of Storm's garage. You know how they did that one, and it really was low and away from the. I just thought that was a good way to work on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been before the planning board since.
Sure. No, you have all the restrictions in the world. I understand that.
but your suggestion, I think, is one that deserves at least conversation with the planning board. If the planning board is, I mean, when they were apprehensive about the removal of 11 trees, and we went to 2, perhaps we blinked too hard, and I do think if we lost this one tree, we would be able to improve the way this whole thing feels. We have, as you can see, we're proposing quite a bit of planting.
What type of tree is it, and what is the height?
Um,
I know these. These are big trees.
yeah, they're very large trees. We had Wayne Kahili come through and do an analysis on all the trees. The tree actually, there are a couple of trees that he recommended that be taken down. In fact, the 2 trees that we're taking down to build the garage, one's a big pine that's too close to the house and it's not doing well. So we're going to take that down. And there's another pine over here that just is kind of, it's like a clutter against this. So we're taking that one out. The row of trees across here, I think, is what really matters the most, because I think that
That's what everybody perceives when you come up the driveway. Yep.
Exactly. So I'm willing to discuss it with the planning board, and you know, I don't think we would be changing, if you will, the architecture at all. But I think it would really be a site planning change, which I think sounds like it makes sense.
Just wonder if you did this.
Patty?
Yeah.
The planning board spent a lot of time on saving those trees.
Yeah, but the planning board didn't see it how smack up against the garage. It just seems so.
Well, in what you just drew, you wouldn't be touching the tree that they're.
No,
they're
no, it's rotating. It just means it's
Talking about
not,
going
it's
around
not straight into the hill the way he's got it now. He's following the grade of the hill. That's not all, none of it's being regraded. It's just going right into it.
Right. But I'm not, I mean, what you drew before is worth us taking a look at. I mean, we're going up to 412. If I rotated this around so it was coming down,
you're not doing this, yeah.
I would be, you know, I'd be at 410 instead of 412. It's not like I'm going into more height of the hillside. So it's something that I'm certainly willing to give some time and take a look at and see if either straightening this out or shifting it and losing that tree. You know, but as Ed said, I mean, there was a tremendous amount of discussion with the planning board, and they did a really great job with this. They took it very seriously, and I think they made some really great improvements to what we were thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how are we going to go forward here?
He's still got to go back to the planning board, so he's not going to lose a lot of time.
Yeah.
Can we approve the house and then come back on the garage?
I don't think it matters, because if he's got to come back for the garage,
I think it's a nice suggestion, Ed. I mean,
I'm not getting in the middle of that. That's not me.
Yeah, but I mean, it might not, I'm not suggesting that it has to be a vote tonight, but if we can confirm that we're comfortable with the house so that my client is not anxious, that what we're talking about is the location, positioning of the garage on the site, and we're going to have to come back for that. You're not having a first meeting, I think, in August. I
You're
think
changing walls and stuff too, Patty.
Yeah, we don't have a first meeting in August.
Right.
The fourth Monday.
I would think
The deadline's still, Patty. You can carry him over, so he can make a submission the second Tuesday of the month if you want. But it's up to you guys. If you want to write a recommendation to the planning board, it's the only way they're going to hear it. And to be honest with you, an enormous amount of time was spent about the solar panels and those trees and the damage to those trees. Significant time. So
solar panels aren't in this application anyway.
They were removed for a lot of reasons. Some of what Patty said, and some because the planning board didn't want them. The trees that the planning board didn't want the trees removed because of the solar panels.
Right. That was part of the positioning we got to here. These 2 trees, we're far enough over that we're not killing the solar, but if we slid this and lost that one tree, I don't think this one tree would cause us a problem.
I'm not agreeing.
Yeah.
Ed, can we approve just the house, not the garage?
Why not?
Why? I'm not issuing a permit with a partial approval from anybody.
It's a matter of making people comfortable, Ed.
Yeah, well, they've already approved the house, but you're not going to get a vote. But here's the deal, Patty. I can't issue a permit on a partial approval.
Right.
So that regardless, you've cost yourself another month no matter what. So let's leave that to that answer.
I think
If you get a planning board approval, which I'll bet more money against than for, to move the garage, they're gonna still want another month. You already missed the deadline to submit that plan to the planning board.
Yeah.
So your next opportunity to bring it in front of the planning board with the change you're discussing is September. Okay, which means you can make the next ARB meeting. You can have the discussion next Wednesday with the planning board. You can bring the new plans in September, and you can come back to the ARB if you think you got a positive result before you get an approval. So getting an approval tonight on a significantly incomplete plan with many questions is quite difficult.
Just so you know, there is no ARB meeting in September. We're meeting on the 6th of October.
Yeah.
But
you'll make it, Patty.
Yeah.
That's when you get your approval, if you move the garage.
Right.
If you endeavor on trying to move the garage.
What I'm wondering, okay, I understand what you're saying is I wouldn't be allowed to have that conversation with the planning board at the.
No, you can have that conversation, but they're not going to approve something that wasn't submitted and reviewed.
Right.
Okay, that's the problem. You can have the conversation and get a feel for it.
I mean,
how they go about it, I don't know. But I thought those three trees were a significant conversation in your first and second submission.
You're not changing those trees.
Yeah, he is. He's hitting a critical root zone.
Yeah, I might be taking this tree out, but
No, you're not. You're not. Look, all you're doing is you're rotating on this point. You keep the curve going and you're going that way with it. That's way beyond the critical zone.
I have a suggestion of what we might work with this. As Ed knows, one of the negatives of my reputation is being willing to go back to the planning board to make adjustments after I've gotten approvals. I could see keeping this as it is at this point. I'm perfectly willing and committed to adjusting and looking at the garage further after we've concluded the approvals of all of this. And if we can work it out with the planning board, it might, that garage is not going to be built until the house is built. So, and this is enough work that we're probably talking about a garage getting built in the spring. So if we can move forward with where we're at right now with the architectural review board, get the approvals at Ed, you tell me. I mean, my understanding was they're set to adopt the resolution.
No, Patty, don't put words in my mouth, please.
I'm not putting words.
You know something? Maybe this board doesn't understand my relationship with the planning board and you. I will not get in between your ability to continually switch, change, and it might be clients, but it seems to be always your clients.
Yeah.
All right. There's a lot of tension being built with that conversation you're having now, and I don't want to be part of it.
Right. Well, if you go back and watch the tape, what I just said is correct me if I'm wrong, and you just did.
I'm correcting you. I'm correcting you right up front. I'm struggling with each board has their responsibilities, and each board has great ideas. If the board wants to communicate their ideas to the planning board, they're welcome to do that. All right. I can't emphasize the fact that you have a pending approval subject to a few things. You got the variance from the zoning board. There's quite a big controversy over the coverage allowance, just for the board's edification, when you're in a IF 20 zone and you have a property as big as an IF 40 zone. So you had to get that corrected. Or understood.
IF 80, yeah.
IF 80, yeah.
Yeah, so it's up to you guys. Do what you want. I'm not condoning anything. This is not you're playing with fire, Patty.
My personal opinion is there's enough shrubbery and trees in that area that I don't see the conflict between the garage, the distance from the garage to the house. Ken obviously looks at it a different way, but at this point I don't. It looks more than 15, 20 feet.
Yeah, it's 25, I think. That's where I started at.
All right. Well, you want us to vote on this layout?
I would like you to, and I will, I will give some more intelligent thought than I've given during this meeting to this, and perhaps discuss it with my client, because I'm sure they would have an opinion of me moving their garage around and want to, and they might like the idea enough that they'd say, yeah, go, let's do that, but let's not have it hold us up what we need to do to get started.
I just had one question for my notes, because I don't have all the material in front of me. How many square feet are you adding to this addition?
That I need to, it's been enough time that I'm not remembering what that is. Let me see. If I go back to here, actually one more right here. So what we're at is, first floor is going to be 19. I can't really make that up, but it's 19 something, and existing is almost 16. So it's like maybe 350 feet on the first floor. No, that's second floor. First floor was 1970, and we're 2521. So about 600 on the first floor.
Okay, thank you.
And we're way under on our
Yeah.
FAR stuff, but that's all in, it's still a good size house. And it's just the fact that it is an 86,000 square foot parcel that obviates we're allowed to go up to 10,000 square feet on this, but well, I know my client wouldn't be for that. And then also just the whole issue that I'm sure that would be much more controversial.
No, the 10,000 square foot is interpretive, Patty, your interpretation.
I didn't know I was so clever to have interpretations. I'm just
No,
trying.
I'm just correcting you because I don't want anyone to understand that you could put a 10,000 square foot house
Can we
there.
move forward with a vote? Sorry.
Yeah, you've got other stuff on the agenda for sure.
You think? All right. Do I have then do I have a motion to approve the application less the solar?
So move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Oh,
One opposed? I don't see.
I'll see what I can do, Ken.
Thanks, Patty.
Okay, so we have 4-1 approval.
Thank you very much, everybody. Good luck with the rest of the meeting.
All right. All right, moving along. 20-33, 14 North Buckout Street, exterior elevation change. This should be a quickie. Patrick, you're still on, Patrick.
Oh, sorry. And I forgot to introduce Laura Wakefield, the architect who's sitting here through the meeting, but I will now mute myself. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Who do we have here? Mr. Thacker? Mr. Thacker, you gonna make the presentation?
Oh,
You're muted. You're muted.
Still muted. You can unmute him.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm the owner. Carl Dibble is going to do the masonry work. We just have a back patio. I think you're all probably familiar with the 5 attached brownstones across from the post office on North Buckout. So you have to get to the back patio through the house. There are 5 contiguous patios that have low fences, and all of them have a little bit different elevations, and they all have different materials for the patios as well as for the retaining walls. We currently have a creosoted railroad tie retaining wall that certainly has been there since we owned the house, and many, many years before that as well, because I know that material is no longer legal. And we would like to replace that with a stacked stone retaining wall in the exact same location, same height, and remove the stairs that also are framed by creosoted beams, and put in stacked stone stairs with a bluestone tread. There will be a bluestone cap on the retaining wall with a rock edge on it. And then the patio is currently cement, and we would like to put cleft bluestone on that. And it currently, our neighbor to the north has, I guess, non-cleft bluestone, whatever that's called, milled bluestone. And so their patio is about 2 inches higher than our patio. And we share a drain that goes out to Buckout Street that goes underneath the house. So yeah, that's what we're proposing.
Has everybody had a chance to review the application? Board members? Yes? Okay. Do we have any questions from the board? I know there was a question, but you answered it in the email that the steps would have the same, would have a bluestone cap on the stairs as well.
That's correct.
Okay, with the same stonework as part of the step. So
that's right.
I didn't have any questions beyond that. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Very much. Okay. Next on the hit parade is 20-34, 24 Barney Park fence.
Nobody's raising their hand that it's their application.
Okay, we will move on and call that again at the end, just to see in case somebody dozed off a little bit there. All right, we'll go to 20-35, 5 Hillside Terrace patio.
There is somebody here.
Okay.
Hey there.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
Pretty well. Do you guys need me to share the plans for the patio, or you just want to talk through it?
Probably would be best if you had the ability to do that.
Yep.
Just briefly go over the application.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
All right. So there's kind of two components. We're putting in a patio, or proposing to put in a patio, but also replacing some steps that are misaligned with a door that we installed 2 years ago, I believe. So the steps align with the door, so it's actually usable. So those would be bluestone capped steps that lead to a bluestone Cambridge style paving stone patio that would take the footprint of this area here. We're installing a dual chamber Coltech water catcher. And that's really the extent of it. None of this is actually visible from Harriman, which is over here. With the exception of the steps, which would have a black metal railing. We're not really particular about that. But that would be the only thing visible from the street.
So the steps are going to remain. It's just in a different location. You didn't show us where they're going to go. Do you have any?
Exactly. They're moved approximately 2.5 feet to the left, so they align with the double opening Anderson doors that are there now. We only use one side of the door to access the current cement steps. But to be truthful, we don't really use these steps at all right now since there's nothing to go to.
Okay. It's just hard for us to accept the words existing steps to be relocated and not tell us where you're relocating them to.
Well, okay. We can dive into that a little bit. So the steps are here, where if you can see that.
Uh-huh.
And the steps are going here. So a few feet to the left.
Oh, so that is the new location.
Exactly. Nothing's really getting moved. It's just initially when we moved into this house, there was a simple door that opened up into these kind of broad steps where we've put a double panel opening Anderson door that opens wide in place of that old door. And we still have the old steps in place. So we're going to blow away the old steps and put new ones in. Same size, same dimension, just moving them into the right position to align with the new door with up to code footing and railings and all that stuff.
Okay. Questions, folks? No questions?
Yeah. Sorry, my project's not very exciting, but that's all there is
You
to
don't
it.
really want exciting at 10 o'clock at night.
Right.
Ken, anything? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Aye. Gail?
Yes.
Aye, okay. We're good to go.
Guys, thanks very much. Really appreciate it.
You got it.
All right. Take care.
Okay, we're gonna stay on Hillside Terrace. We're gonna go to 16 Hillside Terrace. Siding.
Yeah, there's somebody here.
Okay.
Hi, it's Stephen Connor, the owner here. Can you hear me?
This is a fence. I'm sorry, I thought it was siding. It's a fence.
This is a fence. Yeah, I was just about to correct you. So I'm here with my wife Julie Connor, who is part of the application. So we have a fence in the rear of our property. I'll just share with you the site plan. So hopefully you can see my screen. So Hillside Terrace is on the left, and then on the far right, this is a double lot. So we have Meadow Way, and we're proposing the red line, which is an additional fence which supplements the existing fence around the perimeter of the property. So the existing fence aligns Meadow Way, which is on the very back line of the property just down here. And we're proposing effectively exactly the same fence to extend it along the red lines around the perimeter of the property, which is a 6-foot brown cedar wood fence, which is in keeping with the existing characteristics, obviously, of the same fence that we have and other ones in the neighborhood.
So,
yep, go ahead.
You're proposing the exact same fence that's on Meadow Way?
It's the same style of fence that's on Meadow Way. So this is the existing, if you see my pointer, that's the existing fence there.
Saw that part of the fence, but your photographs of the fence that you're proposing is not the same fence as what's on Meadow Way. I don't know if you want to go down to.
We can pull up the photos too. Want to pull up the photos?
Yep. This is the.
It was the
existing fence.
and it was the best. We're using Anchor Fence, Michael with Anchor Fence, and this was the fence that he could best match the existing fence with. So that was the fence that we were going to go with.
All right.
Yeah, so similar style fence would be more accurate, but this is the difference. I think the finish is going to be slightly different.
I'm not seeing what it is.
Oh, do you not see? You don't see my screen?
No, all I see is the site plan. We may have lost them.
Yes.
Logan, no barking. So, here, look what happened.
Sorry, did we lose them?
Yes, we did.
Right.
I'm waiting to see if he globs back in.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sarah, do you have the ability to pull up their application?
Yes.
They come back. I know what I saw on the existing fence. It's not the same as what they're proposing. You're back.
Yes, we were just showing the styling of the fence, which will take me one
You might
sec.
have had a question.
Sarah was going to try to bring up the application in its entirety so we can look at it.
Where is the?
Yeah.
All right.
This is the proposed fence style,
Right.
and then we have the existing fence just here.
You have the picture of the existing fence?
This is the existing fence, yeah. As you can see, it's slightly weathered.
So yeah, once again, I'm looking at the proposed fence. We're not changing.
And that's existing, it's 213.
This one, do you see?
You have to unshare and then share again.
I see a new fence there.
Yeah, here you go. This is the existing fence. You should see it change now. That's it.
So it's not exactly the same, but I'm not going to split hairs.
It's similar, yeah. It was the closest match we could get with the weathering.
Okay. Did anybody have any questions based on looking at the application before tonight? Do I have any questions from the board?
That's the existing.
Yes, that's the existing.
This is the existing, right?
Did you want me to show the new again?
That's just by the way, that's just a straight run across the back of their property against Meadow Way. That's Meadow Way you're looking at right there.
Yep.
You want to show the proposed again, if you can?
Yep, sure. No, I've got it down now. There we go.
Okay.
And you can't match it exactly because why? Can't get that.
It's just slightly weathered, and he couldn't find that exact style, and it was a cheaper style of fence that they had before, and this was the best one we could have that we could find that was durable as well. So that was the reasoning, but there was no closer match in terms of color anyway, style.
Well, you're not going to match the patina, but you certainly could have matched the top section with the points. I mean, that's what
with the Gothic.
I mean, it's the whole rest of the fence is going to be this fence. It's a whole lot of fence, and that's going to be
the Gothic style
inboard of the property line.
And I'm sorry, if just one last time, can you go back to the map? It's getting late.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, sure.
We're going to, so the Gothic style decorative post caps will be installed on our fence. So in the same way. That is in the application.
The top trim you're going to install?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that will.
Oh, that's what I didn't understand. Okay.
Right. Yeah. The post caps, those ones that you
The other
were
one.
mentioning, Rick, they're going to be installed.
Thank
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night.
All right. Now we go to the, what I jumped, the 20-37, 33 Dogwood Lane. This is the siding project. And that's the name.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Bellavio. How are you?
Good.
Okay, so basically, here we are, bottom of the ninth. 33 Dogwood Lane's currently a cedar shake style siding in line with the Dogwood Sycamore neighborhood. I'm sorry, did somebody ask me a question?
No, I don't think so.
Not
yet.
And, you know, we're just proposing to replace the siding. It's in really bad shape with hardy plank, 7-inch exposure, timber bark color. It's been confirmed. And that's it. White Aztec trim around the windows and a direct replacement of the white trim around the bay window in the front. If you want me to pull up pictures that are part of the application, be more than happy to.
Has everybody reviewed it?
Yep.
Ladies?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I didn't find any issues with the application. Having no comments coming from the board, I would make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Raise your hand like that. Press the button.
Easy.
Okay. This one, thank you. You're good to go.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. Now we're looking at a real toughie. 30-38, 77 Main Street, awning.
Just like nothing. Okay.
The only thing that could go wrong now is if the applicant isn't here. Aha. Judy. You there, Judy?
You can unmute her, or the host is. There you go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Judy.
Hey, Rex.
We know that's your name because we could see it, but we can't see you.
No, I know. I don't know why that is.
Okay. I don't know that that's much of a problem, other than the fact that we've already looked. I think most of us have seen the application. It's a straightforward 3x3 by 18, I believe, awning of the same color that most of the awnings are of in town, burgundy.
Burgundy.
Nothing is to be stenciled on the awning. No address, no business name, no phone number. So
Nothing.
as far as I'm concerned, I'm good to go.
Rick? Ed Marin.
Yes, Ed.
Somewhere along this weekend, a sign wound up on top of the front door that's not in the application. Is that going to be part of the application?
No.
Is it going to be removed?
If you want it to, yes.
Okay, it needs to be part of this application or removed.
Then it's
It needs to be
removed.
4 feet from the window.
Removed.
Okay. And if you
That's sorry for the
want
troubles.
to put anything on your glass windows or another sign, you will have to come back to us, just so you know.
Okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ed.
I think the dark gray is pretty. The dark gray.
Okay. Now we will get to
State.
30-39, 10 North Ecker Street, windows.
The last one, right?
Well, I'll recall the one that didn't answer, and we'll see if this is the last one.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's nobody else here. Go in.
There we go.
Oh, there he is.
Hear me?
How are you, Mr. Bernstein?
I am well, thank you.
Okay.
Most of you, good evening. It's Ken Bernstein, my wife Deborah Bernstein. We own the house at 10 North Ecker Street. We are here before you because we are replacing the windows in our house. We're replacing all of the windows. There are 21. We apologize because we honestly didn't know we needed to get approval from this board before we started the project. So much of the project has been completed, but we need to continue with the work, and we stopped to get approval before this board. The windows we have currently are probably 50, 60 years old or so. They're wood. They had some terrible black mold. They are drafty. They're noisy when the wind blows. They're in really terrible shape. My dog ate through the grating on a couple of them. So we needed to replace them. We met with Renewal by Andersen, which is an Andersen division that does the complete job start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to decide what style to go with. We're not changing any of the sizes of the windows. We have shutters on a lot of the windows. We're leaving the shutters. We're not changing any structures. We're just popping out old windows, putting in new ones. We walked around the Main Street area to see what other people had done. We wanted it to be consistent. And we saw that probably the most common window style was 6/1. We currently have 6/6 here, but we like the look of the 6/1. We saw lots of examples of that. We saw also black grading, which we saw in a number of homes, and I think in the historic guide there's a recommendation or suggestion that dark.
Is that just the exterior, Ken? Black? The
Sashes.
exterior, the interior, or just the exterior?
No, both.
The exterior sashes.
Exterior sashes, okay. So we saw black. It's the same as the inside, but the exterior is black. And we also wanted to be able to easily clean the windows and avoid mold in the future. And so we went with the grading, the grading, the grill between the panes, so within the glass.
Okay.
And that's the design we like. We saw lots of examples of it. We're happy to answer any questions you have. I have a number of pictures I can pull up. I apologize for an informal presentation, but it was kind of a last minute thing to get the application in because we didn't realize until the last minute that we needed to come before you.
I will open it up to the board. Questions from the board?
Well, I don't know if we really have questions because we already posed them, but I mean, needless to say, we're here after the windows have already been installed. So I'm not quite sure what is left for us to discuss because we weren't given the opportunity to weigh in on what the appropriate window was for this house. I have to say it because I wrote it. I'm surprised, quite frankly, for 21 windows that it didn't strike you that you needed a building permit. And I'm surprised that the village didn't also inform you that you needed a building permit, let alone ARB approval. I know that you had said in your response that you were aware, very much aware, because you had participated in the conversation and discussion surrounding the historic district guidelines. You knew they were in existence. It's pretty clear in that guideline that you need approval from the ARB, and it's pretty prominently stated on the building department's website that you need not only a building permit, but ARB approval. But here we are 21 windows later, already installed, and you're before the ARB. So I don't really want to know what the chair wants me to say or comment on because I'm not too sure what we're deciding tonight.
Just, well, your opinion from the historical district standpoint as far as the choice of the 6/1 versus the 6/6.
Well, I think we've been given the opportunity to have a conversation. I think that most of the board would agree that, you know, we'd be looking to look more for, you know, divided light. If it's 6/1, I'm sure we could have a conversation. But when I saw some of the windows that have been replaced, there were some that are not 6/1. Is that when I walked around the property, are there 2 or 3 windows that have already been replaced, but they're not 6/1?
Yeah, most of them are 6/1. There's a couple of picture windows and like a kitchen window that are no
kitchen window
grill.
has
No grill.
So you opted for not putting even the grill on it.
on that one because it's an awning and we could leave it open if it rains. So.
But there's a picture window in the front and there's a picture window in the back that we opted to have more light and to be able to see outside clearly. So
Wanted
those
to see our
didn't have.
backyard, wanted to see like the front trees, and we just wanted more light. Our house the old windows were very heavy with a lot of metal. And they were just filthy all the time. So we kind of like to have the view and have light, and it was just what we were looking for.
Right. Look, I'm not in a position to want to scold you. I just am a little surprised. That's all. I feel like we weren't given an opportunity to have a conversation. We have, you know, some pretty experienced architect on the board. I think they would have steered you in a direction that would have kept it more historically accurate. I think it was the goal of the village to try to keep these houses historically accurate to the extent possible. And I think you will find that there'll always be homeowners who have a preference because of, you know, the view from inside, or their preference based on, you know, what it was, and they don't want to change it even though it's not historically accurate. And the idea behind the historic district guidelines was try to make universal decisions so that the village has a cohesiveness about it and the houses are kept more historically accurate. And I know you knew that because I remember you were part of the conversation, but be that as it may, as I said, I don't know what position we're in now to do much of anything. The last thing in the world as your neighbor we would ever say is take the windows out. So I looked at Ken, if there's some little tweaks here and there as an architect you would recommend, I'd be willing I'd be actually interested to hear what you have to say. But at this point, I think we're stuck with it, to be quite frank. It's a little disappointing, but hey, there's not too much more we can kind of discuss, in my opinion, unless the chair or Ken has something to add.
And I would just add, you know, again, I started by apologizing. It's no excuse. We should have known. Certainly I knew if we were putting in a new window, certainly I knew if we were changing the size of a window that we would of course be before you. I just didn't even think we were popping out old windows and putting new windows in place. And, you know, again, we walked around the town and we're looking to see what other people did so we could be consistent. And I've seen lots of examples of this color and this grill pattern. I mean, it's all over the place. So I can only apologize.
Okay, anything else from Ken? Any comments? Okay. All right, well, we're in a situation where I'm going to make a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Really? All right. I don't know how we're going to turn this down, but.
Well, let me ask Ken then. So Ken, what are your thoughts on this?
Which
we would have gone around the discussion about how many lights. I'm a believer in the 2/1 because that's the New York window. It allows maximum light, yet it's in keeping with the neighborhood, and true light windows instead of grills, which always seems so superficial, or at least close to true light, where it's both inside the IG and the outside. I do like the dark sashes. I think that's in keeping with what we've seen, in particular on the south side of Main Street. Some of the historic work that's been done is in keeping with that, and that would have been encouraged. And I think we would have just had that discussion. It's disappointing, especially when everybody works so hard on exactly these guidelines. That's all I really want to say.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way for these types of windows to add the grill on the outside, like an after effect, to make this look better than it is?
Yes, there is a way, but it never looks right. It just never looks right.
Is it an improvement over not having it at all? I guess is my
To
question.
my mind, it's not an improvement. It's not.
The rec center next door to us has kind of pop-on plastic dividers on the windows. I mean, we don't think it looks good. But.
Never looks good.
Okay.
Look, the problem, well, what do you think, Gil?
I feel the same way, you know. We just had a similar issue, obviously, with your house next door. And they ended up putting the old window back in. So, and that was how it was resolved. I mean, it was a pair of windows, but our house is divided down the middle. So they put a new window in and they were trying to glue the grills to the front. But the window was smaller. The neighbors were clearly very upset. And they ended up putting the old window back in. So now we have a pair of the originals with the original glass. So
the position we're put in is that we're asking your neighbors to put in windows that are more consistent with the house and the design guidelines. And now here we are. If we approve the windows you put in, what does that say to the neighbors who've already made the changes in the past and those who come after you? They're going to point to your windows going forward.
What is the principal objection with the style? So the darker sash is not an objection. You're saying
the fake mullions, the interior light
mullions on the inside.
Yes,
okay.
Because it looks like a single pane of glass when it reflects. It's not in keeping with the smaller scale that the true divided lights have.
I mean, we did take a walk around again.
The big objection is that we didn't have the opportunity to help you and in keeping with the village, and that's what's and setting precedent. I think you're hearing that again and again. Setting precedent is really hard for us, especially when we, for us to approve it, it's like it could be thrown in our face later on.
It will be.
I understand. And I'm not saying anyone else was approved by you, but there are. We saw a number of examples of those kinds of windows within the few blocks around us. But
we just also had a really bad experience with the current windows, and I mean, we just couldn't. They were like filthy all the time. Even when we had them professionally cleaned, they couldn't. They were terrible. We were just looking through dust all the time, and we live very close to Main Street. It's filthy. There's a ton of grime, and it's noisy. And they would like rattle. And
no. We're not saying don't replace your windows. We're not saying that. It's to replace them with light windows. We're all.
I know. But I'm just saying the way that you can clean them is kind of nice. But
clean our windows.
I understand. They're just,
We clean our windows, yeah.
But obviously this wasn't the way we planned it. So otherwise, we would have liked to done it a different way, but we just didn't think that, if we weren't adding or changing and making something bigger or adding a window, that's what I thought would be considered building permits and all that stuff. So.
Okay, well, my opinion is I'm not happy that we're in a position to have to approve it, but in my opinion, the homeowners have already spent $35,000 or so to have these windows replaced. We've made this exception in the past, and as far as I'm concerned, I'm in a position to approve it. If no one else is going to follow me, that's okay too. But I am going to make a motion to approve the application. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Just two. The application fails. I will
Rick?
show the.
Rick?
Yep.
You got to take a motion of denial too.
Yep.
Chapter 9.7 requires a vote from all members. We had this problem once before.
Well, okay, so 2-4. How many against?
I have to be against. It's on the historic
Show of hands, please.
I had,
Okay, Randy? Gail?
I'm
I can't see you.
I'm just terribly torn. I have a hard time.
Can't have an abstention. That's how we got in trouble last time.
so what happens with the denial, Ed, since you're on the call?
It starts with they haven't been denied yet. A 2-2 vote
What happens?
isn't a majority.
Okay, let me just
So
read.
they automatically get a permit.
Gail, have you abstained?
Has to be a majority of the members present.
Right.
Chapter, it's 9-7 of the Village Code. Or you can carry it over.
Yeah, I would prefer to carry it over. You know, I want to read through everything again and make, like, you know, a more informed decision, I guess. I don't know where to go with it because I'm uncomfortable either way.
So you're saying they need to come before us at the next meeting?
I'm making a suggestion. They have to ask for it. But right now, if the vote the way it is, it's an automatic approval. You have 2 for, 2 against. That's not a majority of the members present.
That's correct.
Got in trouble with this before.
Yep.
So if it gets denied, does it go to board
The
of trustees?
trustees. He has an opportunity to go to the trustees.
See, I feel like we're setting a precedent that.
I just want to make sure we do it right for everybody.
Just so you know, we've had this precedence before. What was the 15 Main?
Main
Was it
Street.
13 or
Yeah,
15?
it was Main Street.
Yeah, that the customer went and bought the windows, even though we thought they were horrendous, because they were already bought, and the village saw that it was a hardship to the owners, and they overruled us.
Would it be helpful if I just brought up a couple of the pictures that might be clearer, that shows one versus the other? I mean, if Gail is saying she needs to reread things or something, I can, you know, show you what they look like side by side. Might be better than the print version.
I know what they look like, but people do know the difference between the authentic divided light and the, you know, a grill that's put between the glass. So you don't have to show me. I just had it happen on my own house.
The only thing I want to say, and again, I'm not trying to be difficult, it's just that I was on the Historic District Committee, as you probably know, and I actually wrote the guidelines. So I cannot vote to approve this, no matter how much, you know, it pains me that you already bought these windows. I personally believe the right way to proceed is that I believe it should be denied because it sets a bad precedent, and you should go to the Board of Trustees and you should be showing them that the windows are the same or not the same. And it really is that the decision for the Historic District guideline came from the Board of Trustees. We're not honoring that guideline, and we're not honoring what we were told to do if we approve it. 21 windows. If this was 1 or 2 windows, I would be feeling differently, but there are 21 windows, and I think we should just act according to what we were told. Follow the guidelines. If there's an application like this where it wasn't followed, deny, and you just go to the Board of Trustees and make your case, not to the ARB. That's just how I feel.
I mean, I'm looking for the language, but I could probably find it quickly. But, you know, the historic guidelines do say that when the board adopted them, there were resolutions that clearly indicated these were not requirements. That it's a balancing between the preference of the owners and the board.
That's why I said if you had come from the beginning, we could have had the conversation.
I know, of course.
So I'm not even suggesting the Board of Trustees wouldn't uphold and approve your windows. I'm just saying that because the decision was taken out of our hands, I am not in a position to approve it. I think it should be the Board of Trustees at this point, because you're in the historic district and it's 21 windows. That's why I'm voting to deny. I'm not trying to persuade anybody. I'm just trying to give you my opinion, because I do, again, feel badly that you've already installed them and you're going through this process. But it's pretty clear on the website that you need a building permit for this. So I'm not feeling like it was gray area.
Okay. So we have 2 for, 2 against. Gail, where do you stand?
I think I'm against at this point. I just feel, I just can't endorse it. Sorry.
Okay, the matter is then not approved. Ken, as you probably know, or you may or may not know, Mr. Bernstein, you have an opportunity to grieve the decision. That would go to the Board of Trustees. You have 20 days to write a request or what do they call that? Something of information?
A determination of denial. Something
Well,
like that.
it's not what they call it, but
A state of the findings of why you denied it.
findings of fact.
There you go.
You have
It
20
is
minutes, 20 days to file a findings of fact. I have 30 days, or the board has 30 days to respond to it. And at that point, the Board of Trustees will make a decision. Sorry, couldn't be better, but we have laid forth our opinions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sarah, did you say that there's no one else on? Or is the,
There's nobody else here representing an application.
okay. So I'm trying to figure out the, oh,
There, 8.
what was the one we went over?
Who's Mark G? There is somebody out there.
That's Mark Gilliland.
Oh,
All right, all right. No problem. Do you have any old business, new business to take care of?
Nope.
Okay, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Sarah, I'll send you
Thank
the
you.
minutes in the morning.
Okay,
thanks,
thank you.
Ed.
Okay, thanks, guys.